The Grand Meridian Ballroom gleamed under crystal chandeliers, every surface polished to perfection. White roses, thousands of them, transformed the space into something from a fairy tale. Staff rushed everywhere, preparing for what was being called the engagement party of the century. A man in a faded janitor jumpsuit pushed a yellow mop bucket across the marble floor. The uniform hung loose on his frame, stained with years of use. Dirt smudged his face. His work boots squeaked on the polished stone. A worn baseball cap covered most of his features. He moved slowly, methodically, cleaning a stubborn scuff mark near the main entrance. His back was to the door. He didn't see her coming. The doors burst open with a crash. Move. Everyone move. I don't have time for this incompetence. Jessica Monroe exploded into the ballroom like a designer-clad tornado. 26 years old. Stunning in that expensive, manufactured way. Valentino dress. Louboutin heels. Hermes bag. Hair and makeup professionally done. Every inch of her screamed money. She stalked forward, phone pressed to her ear, not watching where she was going. Mother, I told you. White roses, not cream. Are you deaf? The janitor stepped backward with his bucket, focused on the floor. They collided. Water sloshed violently, splashing across the marble, not directly on Jessica, but close enough to her $1,200 shoes that she screamed like someone had stabbed her. What the hell? She jumped backward, her phone clattering to the floor. You idiot. You almost destroyed my shoes. The janitor immediately bent to retrieve her phone. I'm so sorry, ma'am. I didn't see. Don't you dare touch my phone with your filthy hands. Jessica snatched it away, examining it for scratches. Do you have any idea how much this costs? No, of course you don't. You probably make less in a year than I spend on my nails. Ma'am, I sincerely apologize. Let me clean this up. You'll do more than clean it up. You're fired. Security. Security. The janitor stood slowly, water dripping from his mop. His face remained hidden beneath the cap. Ma'am, please, I need this job. I don't care what you need. Do you know whose party this is? Jessica stepped closer, her beautiful face twisted with rage. My fiancé owns this building. He owns everything in this city, including pathetic little people like you. Ma'am, it was an accident. An accident? You attacked me. You could have ruined my dress. Do you know how much this Valentino costs? $3,000. She whirled on the gathering staff. Someone call the police. This man assaulted me. The venue manager materialized, a thin, nervous man named Robert. Ms. Monroe, I'm sure we can resolve. Resolve what? Excuse assault? Allow filthy janitors to attack VIP guests. Jessica's voice reached a shriek. My engagement party is in 3 hours, and this place looks like a disaster because your staff is clearly incompetent. She pointed a manicured finger at the janitor. I want him fired. Not just from this job. I want him blacklisted. I want him to never work in this city again. The janitor's hands gripped the mop handle, knuckles white. His head remained bowed. Please, ma'am. I'll leave. Just don't. Don't what? Ruin your pathetic excuse for a career? Too late. Jessica pulled out her phone. I'm taking your picture. I'm posting it everywhere. Everyone will know what a useless, disgusting. Ms. Monroe, please. Robert tried to intervene. No. Get him out. Get him out before I call my fiancé and tell him to demolish this entire building just to fire every single one of you. Spittle flew from her mouth. Do you understand what kind of power I'm about to marry? Do you understand that I can destroy your lives with one phone call? The janitor turned slowly, pushing his bucket toward the service exit. His shoulders were slumped. Defeated. That's right. Run like the coward you are. Jessica's voice echoed through the ballroom. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. The ballroom staff stood frozen, horrified. Some looked close to tears. Robert looked like he might vomit. Jessica smoothed her dress, her rage transforming into satisfaction. Now, let's make sure the rest of you don't screw up my perfect day. I'm marrying a billionaire tonight, and everything needs to be flawless, or you'll all be fired. Understood. Terrified nods all around. Good. Now get to work. The corner office on the 50th floor of Westbrook Tower was a masterpiece of wealth and power. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Modern art worth millions hung on the walls. A desk the size of a small car dominated the space. Behind that desk sat Alexander James Westbrook III, 32 years old. Dark hair perfectly styled. Sharp suit that cost more than most people's monthly rent. A Patek Philippe watch on his wrist. $250,000. Self-made billionaire. CEO of Westbrook Properties. The man who owned half the commercial real estate in the city. And he was terrified he was about to marry the wrong woman. His mother, Catherine Westbrook, sat across from him. Elegant at 65. Silver hair. Pearls. The kind of old money that didn't need to announce itself. You're having doubts. Not a question. A statement. Alex stood, walking to the window. The city stretched below him. A city he'd conquered through intelligence, ruthlessness, and brutal hard work. I'm having concerns. About Jessica. About Jessica's motivations. He turned to face her. Mother, be honest. In the 8 months I've been with her, has she ever asked me about anything that isn't related to my money? Catherine sipped her tea, considering. She asks about your day. She asks if I made any big deals so she knows if she can go shopping. Alex's voice was bitter. Last week, I told her I was considering a major donation to a children's hospital. Know what she said? I can imagine. She said, "That's nice, baby, but maybe wait until after you buy me that yacht we talked about." We never talked about a yacht. SHE decided we talked about a yacht. Then, in the engagement. What if I'm wrong? Alex ran his hand through his hair. What if she really loves me, and I'm just paranoid? Everyone I've ever dated wanted my money. Maybe I'm seeing problems that don't exist. Or maybe your instincts are correct. Catherine set down her teacup. What are you proposing? Alex pulled a set of keys from his drawer. The engagement party is tomorrow. At the Grand Meridian, one of my properties. Jessica will be there early, supervising the setup. She's never paid attention to any of my staff. Never learned a single name. Never acknowledged their existence. Alex, I'm going undercover. As a janitor. I want to see how she treats people when she thinks they're powerless. When she thinks they can't do anything for her or to her. Catherine was silent for a long moment. Then, that's brilliant. And potentially devastating. I need to know the truth. I need to see who she really is when the mask comes off. And if she fails this test. Alex touched the engagement ring in his desk drawer, a 5-carat diamond he'd spent months designing. Custom. Flawless. Worth more than most people would make in a lifetime. Then I'll know I almost made the biggest mistake of my life. And if she passes, then I'll know she's worth every penny I have. That she sees people as humans, not as servants. That she has the character I thought I saw when we met. Catherine stood, walking to her son. I've never liked her. You know that. She's cold, calculating, and transparently mercenary. But you're my son, and you deserve to learn the truth for yourself. Thank you, Mother. Just promise me one thing. If she reveals herself to be as terrible as I think she is, you'll walk away. No second chances. No excuses. Just walk away. I promise. Alex stood before his full-length mirror, staring at a stranger. The $6,000 Tom Ford suit was gone. In its place, a faded janitor jumpsuit borrowed from one of his buildings. He'd rubbed dirt on his face, mussed his hair, added a worn baseball cap. His expensive watch was replaced with a $15 Casio. He looked invisible, like someone people wouldn't see even if they were looking right at him. His best friend and attorney, Marcus Chun, leaned against the doorframe. You really think this will work? Jessica has never looked at a janitor in her life. She sees the uniform, not the person. Alex turned from side to side, examining his transformation. She won't recognize me because she's never actually seen me. She sees my bank account, my power, my ability to buy her things. But me? The actual person? I don't think she knows who I am at all. What exactly are you hoping to learn? I'm hoping to learn I'm wrong. That she's kind and compassionate. That she treats the janitor the same way she treats me. Alex's voice dropped. But I'm preparing to learn that I'm right. That she's exactly as terrible as my instincts say she is. And if you're right, then tomorrow isn't an engagement party. It's a breakup party with 200 witnesses. Alex picked up the mop and bucket he'd brought from the building. And I'll have dodged the most expensive bullet of my life. Marcus watched his friend. You loved her, didn't you? Or thought you did? I loved who I thought she was. Beautiful, charming, fun. But lately, I've been seeing cracks. The way she talks to waiters. How she treats retail workers. The contempt in her voice when she talks about poor people. I kept making excuses. But I can't anymore. I need to know the truth. What if the truth destroys you? Then I'll heal. But at least I'll be free. Alex grabbed the bucket. Tomorrow morning, I'll arrive at the Grand Meridian as a janitor named Alberto. I'll clean, I'll observe, and I'll learn who Jessica Monroe really is when she thinks no one important is watching. And then, I'll decide if I'm willing to spend my life with that person, or if I'm walking away from the biggest mistake I almost made. He looked at himself one more time in the mirror. The billionaire CEO was gone. In his place stood someone invisible, someone powerless, someone who was about to learn the truth. After Jessica's explosion, Alex retreated to the service corridor behind the ballroom. He sat on an overturned bucket, his hands shaking, not with fear, but with rage and heartbreak. He had his answer. In the most brutal, public, humiliating way possible. Jessica had threatened him, screamed at him, tried to destroy his career, called him filthy, pathetic, disgusting. All because of a minor accident. All because he wore a janitor's uniform instead of a designer suit. The woman he'd been planning to marry had just revealed exactly who she was. And it was even worse than he'd feared. Hey, you okay? Alex looked up. A young woman stood in the corridor doorway. Mid-20s, wearing a simple black catering uniform. Dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. Brown eyes full of genuine concern. She carried a tray with sandwiches and a bottle of water. The manager said you might be back here. I'm Sarah. She held out the water. You look like you could use this. Alex took it automatically, his hands still trembling. Thank you. Don't let her get to you. Sarah sat down on a nearby crate, setting the tray between them. That woman, Jessica, she's been terrorizing everyone all morning. Made 2 of our waitresses cry. Screamed at my manager for 20 minutes because the napkins were the wrong shade of white. Wrong shade of white. Like anyone can tell the difference. She seems difficult. She's a monster. Sarah unwrapped a sandwich, handing it to him. Here, you probably haven't eaten. She worked you pretty hard out there, and I'm guessing she didn't give you a lunch break. I can't take your food. I packed extra. Take it. You need your strength. She smiled warmly. What's your name? Al, he caught himself. Alberto. People call me Al. Well, Al, welcome to the worst engagement party in history. That woman is marrying some billionaire CEO. Honestly, I feel sorry for him. All the money in the world, and he's stuck with her. Alex almost laughed. Maybe he knows what he's getting into. I doubt it. Rich guys like that, they're usually surrounded by yes men and people who tell them what they want to hear. They don't see reality until it slaps them in the face. Sarah took a bite of her sandwich. You've been working here long? First day, actually. Seriously? Wow. Brutal first day? But don't let it discourage you. Most people aren't like her. Most people are decent. They treat you like a human being, not like whatever she thinks you are. Trash. She thinks I'm trash. You're not trash. You're a hardworking person doing an honest job. That's more than I can say for her. All she does is spend someone else's money and treat people like garbage. Sarah finished her sandwich. You know what my dad used to say? He was a custodian his whole life. Worked in office buildings downtown. What did he say? He said, the way people treat the janitor tells you everything about their character. The CEO who's rude to the janitor is a bad person pretending to be good. The CEO who's kind to the janitor is a good person who doesn't need to pretend. Pretty smart, right? Very smart. Your dad sounds like a wise man. He was. The best. He died 2 years ago, but I think about him every day. Sarah's eyes grew wet, but she blinked it away. Anyway, the point is, don't let people like her make you feel small. You're doing important work. This place wouldn't function without people like you. Thank you, Sarah. Really, you've been very kind. That's what decent people do. We take care of each other. She stood, picking up the tray. I should get back before my manager notices I'm gone. But Al, hang in there. Your day's going to get better. I can feel it. She walked away, leaving Alex sitting there with a bottle of water, a sandwich, and the first genuine kindness he'd experienced all day. From a caterer who had no idea she was talking to the man Jessica was about to marry. From a woman who'd just passed a test she didn't know she was taking. Alex pulled out his phone, a burner, not his usual device, and texted Marcus. Find out everything about Sarah Chun. The caterer. Where she works, her background, everything. I want a full report by tonight. Marcus, the caterer? What? Because she's the first person today who treated me like a human being. That matters. Just do it. And Jessica? Alex looked at the engagement ring in his pocket, the one he'd been planning to put on Jessica's finger tonight. The engagement is off. Start preparing the announcement. And Marcus? I'm going to need a suit for tonight. A good suit. I'm making an entrance Jessica will never forget. 1 hour later, Alex was mopping the entrance hallway when he heard Jessica's voice approaching. She was with 3 friends, women he recognized from previous social events, all dressed in designer clothes, all laughing at Jessica's stories. And the idiot janitor actually had the nerve to try to apologize. Like sorry fixes anything. Jessica's voice carried through the corridor. I had him fired, obviously. You can't let people like that think they matter. Her friends laughed. Jessica, you're terrible, one of them said, delighted. I'm honest. There's a difference. People like that, they're beneath us. They exist to serve people like me. And if they can't do that properly, they should be eliminated. What's Alex going to say when he finds out you fired someone? Alex will do whatever I tell him to do. That's what happens when you marry a man for his money. You train him early that you're in charge. Jessica's laugh was cruel. He thinks I love him. It's adorable. I love his credit card. There's a difference. More laughter. They rounded the corner into the hallway where Alex was mopping. He kept his head down, pretending to focus on the floor. Oh God, is that the janitor from before? One friend whispered. Wait, they let him stay? After what happened, another asked. Jessica's eyes landed on Alex. Her face twisted with disgust. Are you kidding me? You're still here. Alex looked up slowly, keeping his face in shadow beneath the cap. I was told to finish my shift, ma'am. Your shift? You don't have a shift. You have an exit. Out that door. Now. The manager said. I don't care what the manager said. I'm telling you to leave. Or do you need more motivation? Jessica opened her designer purse, pulling out a handful of bills. $1 bills. Here. This is more money than you probably make in a week. She held them out mockingly. Alex didn't move. What? Too proud to take charity. You should be grateful. Jessica stepped closer. You know what I think? I think you smell. Do you own a shower? Or is that too expensive on your pathetic salary? Her friends giggled. Tell you what. I'll give you $3 whole. You can buy some soap. Maybe some deodorant. Try not to contaminate anyone else with your poverty. She dropped the bills onto the wet floor, where they landed in the dirty mop water. Oops. Guess you'll have to fish them out. Consider it bonus compensation. Her friends erupted in laughter, high-pitched and cruel. Oh my God, Jessica, you're savage. I'm doing him a favor. Teaching him his place in the world. Jessica stepped over the soaked bills. Come on, girls. Let's go somewhere that doesn't smell like failure and poor people. They walked away, their laughter echoing in the hallway. Alex stared at the $1 bills floating in dirty water. $3. She'd thrown $3 at the man who could buy her entire life with pocket change. He pulled out his phone and texted Marcus. Cancel everything. The engagement, the party announcement, all of it. It's over. Marcus, you're sure? I've never been more sure of anything in my life. She's even worse than I thought. Cruel, heartless, and proud of it. I'm ending this tonight. In front of everyone. Marcus, what about the caterer? Sarah Chun. What about her? Just got her background. MIT grad. Degree in business. Working 3 jobs to pay off student loans and support her sick mother. Her father was Miguel Chun. Worked as a custodian for 40 years before dying of a heart attack on the job 2 years ago. She's been supporting the family ever since. Alex read the message twice. MIT. 3 jobs. Supporting her family. And still found time to be kind to a stranger. Give me everything on her employment situation. I want to know where she works, who her managers are, what she's making. And Marcus? Yeah. Prepare an offer letter. Executive assistant position. $150,000 salary. Full benefits. Start date Monday. I want it ready for tonight. Alex, you've known her for 2 hours. And in those 2 hours, she showed me more genuine character than Jessica has shown in 8 months. Just do it. And get my suit ready. Tonight's going to be memorable. 30 minutes before the party was scheduled to start, Sarah found Alex in the service corridor again. He was staring at the wall, lost in thought. Al, you okay? She looked concerned. You've been back here a while. Manager's looking for you. I'm fine. Just processing. That woman came by again, didn't she? Jessica. Sarah's face darkened. I saw her and her friends. I saw what she did with the money. I'm so sorry. You don't deserve that. Don't I? Maybe I do. Maybe this is what I get for being invisible. Hey. Sarah sat down beside him. Look at me. Alex looked up. You are not invisible. You're a person. A good person, doing honest work. That woman is a monster, and monsters always reveal themselves eventually. But you're doing fine. You're going to be fine. How do you know? Because good people survive. My dad survived 40 years of people like her. He never let them break him. Never let them make him feel small. He knew his worth wasn't in his bank account or his job title. It was in his character. In his heart. She smiled. You've got that same strength. I can tell. What if I told you appearances can be deceiving? That nothing is what it seems. I'd say I already know that. Rich people can be poor in spirit. Poor people can be rich in character. My dad taught me that. She squeezed his shoulder. Whatever's going on, Al, just remember, you matter. You're valuable. Not because of your job or your money, but because you're you. Thank you, Sarah. Alex's voice was thick with emotion. You have no idea how much I needed to hear that today. Anytime. She stood. Now come on. Party's starting in 20 minutes. We've got to get back out there. Sarah, one more thing. Yeah. If someone treated you the way Jessica treated me, screaming, throwing money, trying to destroy your career, would you ever forgive them? Even if they apologized later? Sarah thought about it. Honestly, no. Because that behavior wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. She chose to be cruel. She chose to humiliate you. She chose to treat you like trash. That's who she is. And when people show you who they are, believe them. Wise words. My dad's words. He had a million of them. She smiled sadly. I miss him every day, but I try to live by what he taught me. Treat everyone with dignity. See people for who they are, not what they have. Stand up for what's right even when it's hard. He raised an incredible daughter. Thanks, Al. She walked toward the door, then paused. Hey, after tonight, after this nightmare party is over, come find me. I'll buy you a coffee. A real one, not break room coffee. You deserve something good after the day you've had. I'd like that very much. She left, and Alex sat alone in the corridor, touching the engagement ring one final time. He knew what he had to do. Tonight, Jessica Monroe was going to learn that the janitor she'd humiliated, mocked, and tried to destroy was actually the man she thought she was going to marry. And everyone was going to witness her downfall. By 7 p.m., the Grand Meridian Ballroom was transformed into a vision of wealth and elegance. Crystal chandeliers blazed. White roses covered every surface. A string quartet played Vivaldi. Waiters in tuxedos circulated with champagne and caviar. The city's elite mingled in designer gowns and expensive suits, all here to celebrate the engagement of Jessica Monroe to Alexander Westbrook III. Jessica stood at the entrance, radiant in a silver Vera Wang gown, accepting congratulations and air kisses. She looked like a princess. She sounded like a nightmare. Thank you. Yes, the ring is gorgeous. 5 carats. Flawless. Alex has excellent taste. Well, I trained him. Cruel laughter. He should be here any minute. Probably making some last-minute business deal. You know how these CEO types are. Always working, always making more money for me to spend. The crowd laughed, charmed by her honesty about gold digging. In their world, marrying for money was expected. Almost respected. At 7:30, the ballroom was full. 200 guests. Old money. New money. Social climbers. Business partners. Everyone who mattered in high society. At 7:45, Jessica clinked her champagne glass for attention. The crowd quieted, all eyes on her. Thank you all for coming tonight. I know you're dying to meet my incredible fiancé. She beamed, beautiful and terrible. Alex texted that he's in the building, just finishing up some work. Because that's what successful men do. They build empires. And soon, I'll be helping him manage that empire as his wife. Applause. Approving murmurs. Everyone was charmed. I just want to say, I am so lucky to be marrying a man who can give me everything I've ever wanted. The penthouse, the cars, the jewels, the lifestyle. She held up her hand, showing off the massive engagement ring. This is just the beginning. By this time next year, I'll have the yacht, the vacation homes, the unlimited shopping budget. The crowd laughed, loving her transparency. So please, eat, drink, enjoy. And when Alex arrives, we'll make the official announcement. Get ready to witness the perfect couple. More applause. At exactly 8 p.m., the service door at the back of the ballroom opened. A figure in a janitor jumpsuit walked in, pushing a yellow mop bucket. Same stained uniform. Same worn cap. Same invisible worker no one paid attention to. Except people noticed immediately. Whispers spread like wildfire. Is that a janitor? What's he doing here? During the party? Jessica's head whipped around, her champagne glass freezing halfway to her lips. What the? Her beautiful face twisted with rage. She slammed her glass down and grabbed the microphone. Security. Security. Why is this trash still here? The janitor kept walking, moving slowly toward the center of the ballroom. People stepped back, creating a path, confused and horrified. I told you to fire him. Jessica's voice echoed through the suddenly silent ballroom. This is the incompetent janitor who attacked me earlier. Someone get him out. The venue manager Robert appeared, looking panicked. Ms. Monroe. Don't Ms. Monroe me. Call the police. Call Alex. He'll have this man arrested for trespassing. The janitor stopped in the center of the ballroom, directly under the main chandelier. Slowly, deliberately, he set down his mop. Slowly, deliberately, he removed his baseball cap. Dark hair, perfectly styled despite being under a cap all day. Sharp, aristocratic features. Eyes that had been photographed in Business Week, Forbes, Fortune. Alexander James Westbrook III looked at his fiancée, his ex-fiancée, with cold, lethal precision. Hello, Jessica. The ballroom went absolutely silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Jessica's face drained of color. Her champagne glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the marble floor. Alex. Surprise. His voice was calm, controlled, more terrifying than if he'd shouted. I don't understand. Why are you? What are you? She couldn't form a complete sentence. Wearing a janitor's uniform? Mopping floors? Looking like someone beneath you? Alex moved closer, each step deliberate. The crowd parted like the Red Sea. Because I wanted to see who you really are. I wanted to see how you treat people when you think they're powerless. When you think they can't fight back. Baby, I can explain. Can you? Can you explain calling me filthy? Throwing $3 at me and telling me to buy soap? Posting my photo online to destroy my career? His voice rose slightly. Can you explain saying I smell like failure? The crowd gasped. Phones were out. Everyone was recording. Jessica's mouth opened and closed. You weren't supposed to. I thought you were at the office. I was supposed to be at the office. But I had a suspicion. A feeling that the woman I was about to marry might not be who she pretended to be. So I tested you. Alex turned to address the crowd. I spent 6 hours today dressed as a janitor. And every horrible, cruel, heartless thing she did, that was to me. Your host. The man she claims to love. But I didn't know it was you. If you had known, you would have acted differently. Exactly. Alex's voice cut like a knife. And that's the problem, Jessica. You treat people with kindness or cruelty based on what they can do for you. Based on their bank account. Based on their power. The venue manager Robert rushed over, bowing deeply. Mr. Westbrook, sir, I apologize for any. Don't apologize to me, Robert. You tried to defend me. You tried to tell her it was just an accident. She threatened to have me buy this building just to fire you. Alex's eyes never left Jessica. Which, by the way, I do own this building. Have for 5 years. Gasps throughout the crowd. Phones recording every second. Jessica was crying now, mascara running in black streaks. Alex, please. I was stressed. I was worried about the party. I didn't mean. You meant every word. Every cruel, vicious, heartless word. Alex pulled the engagement ring from his pocket. Not from the janitor uniform, but from a small box he'd kept hidden. I was going to put this on your finger tonight. I was going to commit my life to you. Thank God I learned the truth before it was too late. No. Alex, no. I love you. I love you so much. You love my money. You love my power. You love what I can buy you. Alex's voice was steel. But you don't love me. You don't even see me. You said it yourself an hour ago. You love my credit card. There's a difference. Jessica's eyes went wide. You heard that. I heard everything. How you said you were training me. How you think I'm adorable for believing you love me. How you told your friends that people like janitors should be eliminated. Alex looked around the ballroom. Everyone here has heard it now. My security team has been recording everything since this morning. Every word. Every cruel action. All of it. The crowd murmured, some nodding, others looking disgusted. Alex turned to his security team. Please escort Ms. Monroe from MY building. She's trespassing. No. Jessica lunged forward, grabbing Alex's arm. You can't do this. We're engaged. We're supposed to get married. Alex pulled his arm free. We're not engaged. We're done. And Jessica, I'm going to make sure every person in our social circle, every business contact, every publication that covers society knows exactly what you did today. The world deserves to know who you really are." Two security guards appeared, taking Jessica's arms gently but firmly. "You'll regret this. I'll SU you. I'll tell everyone you humiliated me. You'll do nothing. Because I have video evidence of assault, harassment, slander, and attempted blackmail. Try to come after me, and I'll press criminal charges. Test me." Alex's voice was final. "Get her out of my sight." They escorted Jessica toward the exit. She fought them, screaming, clawing, her beautiful gown dragging on the floor. "You can't do this to me. I'm Jessica Monroe. My family has connections. You'll pay for this. I'll destroy you. You'll be escorted from the building, banned from all my properties, and lucky if I don't pursue legal action." Alex's voice was ice. "Goodbye, Jessica. I hope the next man you target does his research better than I did." The doors closed behind her, cutting off her screams mid-sentence. The ballroom remained silent. 200 people staring at Alex in his janitor's uniform, standing in the center of his own engagement party that was no longer an engagement party. Alex took a deep breath and addressed the crowd. "I apologize for the scene. I know you all came here tonight expecting a celebration, and you're right to expect one, just not the celebration we planned." He walked slowly around the room, making eye contact with faces he recognized. Business partners, society friends, people who'd known him for years. "For those who don't know, I'm Alexander Westbrook. I own Westbrook Properties. I built this company from nothing through hard work, strategy, and yes, I'll admit it, ruthless business practices. I've made billions. I've succeeded by every measurable standard." He paused, letting that sink in. "But today, I learned something more valuable than any business deal. I learned that I almost married a woman who valued wealth over humanity, who treated people as disposable based on their economic status, who was cruel because she could be, and proud of that cruelty." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. "I want to be clear about something. What happened tonight wasn't about exposing Jessica for revenge. It was about learning the truth, about seeing who someone really is when they think no one important is watching. Because that's when people reveal their true character." He gestured around the ballroom. "How many of you have staff? Housekeepers, drivers, assistants? How many of you know their names, their stories, their dreams?" Uncomfortable silence. People looking at the floor. "I didn't know either. Until today. Until I spent 6 hours being treated like I was invisible. Being mocked. Being told I contaminated people with my poverty. Being thrown money like I was a dog begging for scraps." Alex's voice grew stronger. "It was humiliating, dehumanizing, and it taught me that I've been living in a bubble of privilege that blinded me to how the other half lives." A woman in the crowd spoke up. "So what are you going to do about it?" Alex smiled. "I'm glad you asked. 8 to 9:30 the reveal, justice served." Alex pulled a microphone from the sound system and walked to the center of the ballroom. The crowd pressed closer, sensing something important was about to happen. "There was one person today who saw past the uniform. One person who treated me with kindness when she had absolutely nothing to gain from it. One person who reminded me what true character looks like." He looked toward the catering area, where Sarah stood frozen in shock, her hand over her mouth. "Sarah Chun, could you come here, please?" Sarah shook her head frantically. No, I can't. Please. I'm asking." The crowd turned, following Alex's gaze. Sarah's manager gave her a gentle push forward. Slowly, reluctantly, Sarah walked into the center of the ballroom in her simple black catering uniform, surrounded by people in couture gowns and designer tuxedos. She looked terrified. Alex smiled gently. "It's okay. You're not in trouble. Quite the opposite. Mr. Westbrook, I don't understand. When I was dressed as a janitor, humiliated and hurt, you found me. You brought me water and a sandwich. You sat with me and told me not to let cruel people make me feel small. You had no idea who I was, and you were kind anyway. Do you remember what you said?" Sarah's voice was barely a whisper. I said some people have money, but no class. You said that. About my former fiancé. And you were absolutely right." Alex turned to the crowd. "This woman graduated from MIT with a degree in business management. She's working 3 jobs to pay off student loans and support her sick mother. Her father was Miguel Chun, a custodian who worked for 40 years before dying of a heart attack on the job. And despite all that struggle, despite working herself to exhaustion, she found time to be kind to a stranger. The crowd was silent, listening. Sarah, I had my attorney research your employment situation. You're making $15 an hour at the catering company, $12 an hour at your retail job, $20 an hour doing freelance bookkeeping. You work 70 hours a week and still barely make ends meet. Is that accurate? Sarah's face flushed. Mr. Westbrook, I don't think. It's accurate. And it's unacceptable. Alex pulled an envelope from inside his janitor uniform. I want to offer you a position at Westbrook Properties. Executive assistant to the CEO. That's me. Starting salary is $150,000 per year plus full benefits, health coverage for you and your mother, for 401k matching, and a signing bonus of $50,000 to pay off your student loans. The crowd gasped. Sarah looked like she might faint. Mr. Westbrook, that's too much. I'm just a caterer. I can't. You're not just anything. You're someone with an MIT degree who's been overlooked because you don't have connections. Someone with character, compassion, and the exact values I want in my company. Alex's voice was firm but kind. This isn't charity, Sarah. This is me recognizing talent when I see it. You passed a test you didn't know you were taking. You showed me what true wealth looks like. But you don't know me. We just met today. I know everything I need to know. You showed me your character when you thought I was nobody, when you had nothing to gain from being kind. That matters more than any resume or interview. He held out the envelope. The offer letter is here. Take the weekend to think about it. But Sarah, I hope you say yes. My company needs people like you. People who see humans instead of status symbols. Sarah took the envelope with shaking hands. I don't know what to say. Say you'll consider it. That's all I'm asking. Tears streamed down Sarah's face. My father always said character is what you do when no one's watching. He'd be so proud right now. He should be proud every day. He raised an incredible daughter. Alex turned to address the crowd again. I'm also making an announcement. Westbrook Properties is launching the Miguel Chun Memorial Scholarship, named after Sarah's father. We'll be offering full college scholarships and job placement to children of service workers, janitors, custodians, maintenance staff, security guards, the people who keep our buildings running but are often invisible to those who work in them. Applause erupted through the ballroom. We're also implementing a new company policy. Every executive at Westbrook Properties, myself included, will spend 2 weeks per year working in service positions. Cleaning, maintenance, security. They'll learn what these jobs actually entail. They'll understand that every person in our buildings deserves respect, regardless of their role. The applause grew louder. Because I learned more about humanity in 6 hours as a janitor than I learned in 10 years as a CEO. I learned that how you treat the janitor says more about you than how you treat the CEO. I learned that true wealth isn't in your bank account. It's in your character. He looked directly at Sarah. And I learned that the person in the catering uniform might be the most valuable person in the room. Thank you, Sarah, for reminding me what actually matters. The crowd gave a standing ovation. Sarah stood there crying, overwhelmed, clutching the envelope. Alex held up his hand for silence. Now, I know this isn't the party you expected. The engagement is canceled. But the food, the music, the champagne, it's all paid for. So please, stay, enjoy, celebrate honesty, celebrate character, celebrate the truth that came out tonight. He removed his janitor cap and threw it into the crowd. And if anyone wants to know what it's like to be invisible in a room full of people, I highly recommend trying it. It's humbling, and everyone could use a little humility. More applause as Alex walked toward the service exit. Mr. Westbrook, Sarah called out. He turned. Thank you for this opportunity, for seeing me. She couldn't finish, too emotional. Thank you for being who you are, for treating everyone with dignity, for being exactly the kind of person I want in my life and my company. He smiled. Now go enjoy the party. You've earned it. And Sarah, you start Monday, 9 a.m. Don't be late. He disappeared through the service door, leaving Sarah standing in the center of the ballroom, surrounded by applause, holding an envelope that would change her life. Her manager rushed over. Sarah, what just happened? Did he really offer you? He offered me a job. A real job. $150,000 a year. Sarah looked at the envelope like it might disappear. I was just kind to a janitor. I just shared my sandwich. You were kind to everyone. That's who you are. Your dad would be so proud. I know. Sarah looked up at the chandelier, tears streaming down her face. Dad, wherever you are, I did it. I made you proud. Around them, the party transformed. What had started as an engagement celebration became something more meaningful. People talked about the lesson they'd witnessed. Some admitted they didn't know their own staff's names. Others pledged to do better. And in the center of it all stood Sarah Chun, a caterer who'd shown kindness to a stranger and gained a future she'd never imagined possible. 30 minutes later, Alex reappeared. No more janitor uniform. Instead, he wore a perfectly tailored navy Tom Ford suit, his hair styled, his watch gleaming. Every inch the billionaire CEO. The transformation was stark, complete. The invisible janitor was gone. The crowd parted as he walked through, heading directly to where Sarah stood with other catering staff, still in her simple black uniform. May I have this dance? He extended his hand. Sarah looked down at herself. I'm not dressed for dancing. I'm wearing work clothes. You're dressed perfectly. Dance with me. She took his hand, and he led her to the center of the ballroom. The string quartet began playing a waltz. Other couples joined them, but all eyes remained on Alex and Sarah. This is insane, Sarah whispered as they swayed to the music. This morning I was worried about making rent. Tonight I'm dancing with a billionaire who just offered me my dream job. This morning you were being yourself. Kind, compassionate, real. That hasn't changed. The circumstances have changed, but you haven't. That's what matters. Alex spun her gently. Sarah, I want to be clear about something. The job offer is real and legitimate. It's not a reward for being kind. It's an opportunity because you're qualified. You earned this. But I'd also like to take you to dinner. As Alex. Not as your boss. As a man who'd like to get to know the woman who showed him kindness when he needed it most. Sarah looked up at him, searching his face. What if it doesn't work out? What if we go to dinner and discover we have nothing in common? Then you'll still have the job. The offer stands regardless of what happens personally. I'm not going to punish you professionally because of personal incompatibility. The music swelled. But Sarah, I think we have more in common than you realize. Like what? Like understanding that how you treat people when they can't do anything for you reveals your true character. Like knowing that kindness matters more than bank accounts. Like believing that every person deserves dignity, regardless of their job title. Sarah smiled despite herself. When you put it that way. So, is that a yes to dinner? On one condition. Name it. We go somewhere normal. Not some fancy restaurant where the meal costs more than I make in a week. Somewhere with good food and honest people. Somewhere you wouldn't have taken Jessica. Alex laughed, genuinely laughed for the first time all day. Deal. I know a great diner about 3 blocks from here. Best burgers in the city. My treat. We're splitting the check. You're impossible. You're a billionaire. You can afford to let me pay for half. She grinned. I'm not going to be intimidated by your money, Mr. Westbrook. It's Alex. And I wouldn't want you to be. That's what I like about you. They danced until the song ended. When they stepped apart, the crowd applauded again. Not for the wealth or status, but for the genuine connection everyone could see building between them. Alex's mother, Catherine, appeared at his elbow, elegant and smiling. Well done, darling. Though you gave me a heart attack when I heard what you'd planned. She looked at Sarah appraisingly. And you must be Sarah Chun, the woman who showed my son what real character looks like. Mrs. Westbrook. It's an honor. Catherine, please. And the honor is mine. Anyone who can treat a janitor and a CEO with the same respect is someone worth knowing. She squeezed Sarah's hand. Your father raised you well. Thank you. He was the best man I ever knew. I believe it. And I think he'd be very proud of you tonight. Catherine turned to her son. Alex, a word? They stepped aside, and Catherine whispered, that girl is special. Don't mess this up. I know she is. And I won't. I promise. Good. Because if you let her get away, I'll disown you. Alex laughed. Understood, mother. He returned to Sarah, who was being congratulated by other catering staff and even some of the wealthy guests who'd witnessed the evening's drama. Sarah, I should let you get back to work. Actually, her manager interrupted, Sarah's done for the night. Consider her shift over with full pay. After what just happened, I think she's earned an early night. Alex smiled. In that case, how about that diner? We could go now. Talk. Get to know each other properly. Sarah looked at her simple uniform, then at his expensive suit. I'm really not dressed for. Neither am I. I'm overdressed for a diner. So we're both inappropriate. It'll be perfect. He offered his arm. Come on. Let's get out of here before someone else tries to make a speech. Sarah took his arm, and they walked toward the exit together. The billionaire CEO and the caterer, both of them leaving behind the world of wealth and status for something simpler and more real. As they reached the doors, Sarah paused. Alex. Yeah. Thank you. For seeing me. For not judging me by my job or my bank account. For treating me like I matter. Thank you for reminding me that everyone matters. Not just the people who can do something for me. He squeezed her hand. You changed my life today, Sarah. More than you know. They walked out into the cool night air, leaving behind the ballroom full of witnesses to the most dramatic engagement party in the city's history. 3 months later, Sarah sat in her new office, spacious, windowed, with a view of the city skyline, reviewing quarterly reports. She wore a professional suit, her hair styled, looking every inch the successful executive assistant. But on her desk, beside her computer, sat a framed photo of her father in his custodian uniform, smiling at the camera. A reminder of where she came from, of the values he'd taught her. Alex knocked on her doorframe. You ready for the board meeting? As ready as I'll ever be. Though presenting the Miguel Chin Scholarship results still makes me emotional. Your father's legacy is helping change lives. You should be emotional. Alex entered, closing the door behind him. Speaking of which, I have something for you. He handed her an envelope. Sarah opened it to find a check for $100,000. Alex, what is this? A donation to the Miguel Chin Memorial Scholarship Fund. In your father's name. I want to expand the program. Offer more scholarships. Help more families. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. You didn't have to do this. I wanted to. Your father spent 40 years working hard and being kind. He deserves to be remembered. He deserves to have his values carried forward. Alex sat on the edge of her desk. How's your mother doing? So much better. The health insurance you provided means she can afford her medications and regular doctor visits. She's healthier than she's been in years. Sarah wiped her eyes. She wants to meet you, by the way. Keeps asking when I'm bringing home that nice billionaire boy. Alex laughed. I'd love to meet her. How about dinner this weekend? Your place. Home cooking. Nothing fancy. You want to come to my apartment? It's tiny compared to your penthouse. I don't care about the size. I care about meeting the woman who raised you. About seeing where you came from. About understanding your world. My world is very different from yours. I know. That's what I like about it. It's real. He took her hand. Sarah, these past 3 months have been the best of my life. Not because of business success or wealth or any of that, but because of you. Because of us. Because I finally found someone who sees me as a person, not as a bank account. Alex, I'm not proposing. Not yet. It's too soon, and we both know it. But I want you to know that I'm serious about this. About us. About building something real together. Sarah squeezed his hand. I'm serious too. You're nothing like I expected a billionaire to be. What did you expect? Arrogance. Entitlement. Assumptions that money solves everything. She smiled. Instead, I got someone who dressed as a janitor to learn the truth. Someone who treats everyone with respect. Someone who created a scholarship to honor a man he never met because that man's daughter showed him kindness. Your father taught you well. And indirectly, he taught me too. He taught me that character matters more than currency. That how you treat the janitor says everything about who you are. He'd like you. He really would. I hope so. Because I'm planning to be around for a long time. They sat in comfortable silence, hands linked, both of them thinking about the journey that had brought them here. From a janitor and a caterer to CEO and executive assistant. From strangers to something deeper. Sarah? Yeah. I'm glad Jessica treated me terribly. Is that weird? Sarah laughed. Little bit, yeah. But if she hadn't, I never would have learned the truth about her. Never would have met you. Never would have discovered what actually matters in life. He looked at their linked hands. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you is actually the best thing in disguise. My dad used to say that too. He said every hardship is a lesson if you're willing to learn from it. Smart man. The smartest. Alex stood. Come on. We've got a board meeting. And then after work, we're going to that diner again. The one where we had our first real date. The one where you tried to pay and I threatened to walk out. That's the one. Best meal I've had in years. Because the food was good, or because the company was good? Because for the first time in my life, I was with someone who treated me like I mattered for who I am, not what I have. He pulled her to her feet. That's worth more than all the money in the world. They walked to the board meeting together, professional, but with an undercurrent of affection that everyone in the office had noticed and approved of. The billionaire CEO who'd learned humility. The caterer who'd shown kindness without expecting anything in return. Together, they were changing not just Westbrook Properties, but the entire way the company thought about wealth, success, and what actually mattered. True character is how you treat those who can do nothing for you. The janitor and the CEO both deserve the same respect. Never judge someone by their uniform. You might be talking to the person who owns the building. Kindness costs nothing but means everything. If you believe character matters more than bank accounts, smash that like button. Subscribe to Heartfelt Wealth Tales for more stories about karma, justice, and the truths that change lives. And hit that bell so you never miss our next incredible story. Remember, how you treat people when they can't do anything for you reveals who you really are. Be like Sarah. See people. Treat everyone with dignity. You never know when the janitor might be the CEO in disguise. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story.